Askreddit asks, what a childhood meal you loved as a kid, but find disgusting as an adult?
Kid cuisine. Soggy fries and spongy nugs. Classic, but also kind of gross.
Corn in pudding.
Brutal Moose has a pretty good video on these, URL redacted, watch. V equals KF0FGXSYU. This whole series on frozen food is actually pretty good actually.
Not a meal per se. But Sunny D, it's so sweet I feel like I'm going to die.
I grew up drinking actual orange juice but would get weirdly excited about Sunny D then when I got older. I found it could mask the taste of an alarming amount of alcohol. Dangerous game. Edit. Rip my inbox. One of my top comments is now about rusty screwdrivers lol.
Praise the sun. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Also thanks for the gold fam. First gold yay.
When I was home alone in the summer, I would microwave a piece of white bread with a Kraft single on top. Not about that life anymore.
Try it in a toaster oven. Let the top film of the cheese bubble up and brown a bit. We called them cheese pop-ups. They were not terrible. Lol, this is now my top comment. It is good to hear everyone's variations and nostalgic love for the cheese pop-up. And for those asking, I am not talking about the plastic film. When you toast American cheese slices, the outer layer of the cheese is different from the inside of the cheese and it bubbles up as a weird film that turns brown and is delicious.
When I was young I mixed a whole jar of peanut butter and a bag of chocolate chips. I was incredibly sick afterwards but that didn't stop me from doing it again and again. Edit. Okay, this blew up. I did this 2 or 3 times when I was 6 to 8 years old. It was not a regular thing. My parents were not happy with me and it was the reason they stopped buying chocolate chips. The worst occasion was during a friend's sleepover. I projectile vomited in their bathroom and was not invited back. No, I was not a fat child and my parents are not overweight. I was just a stupid kid who hadn't learned portion control yet. These incidents happened when babysitters were not paying attention to me. Adult me loves puppy chow and while I don't eat peanut butter out of the jar with chocolate chips anymore, I eat peanut butter cups and any good chocolate peanut butter combo. I may be trying some of the suggestions on here, they sound yummy. Edit 2. Puppy chow is a mixture of peanut butter, chocolate and butter melted and combined with Chex cereal. Then you toss it in powdered sugar. I may be called something else in other locations but where I grew up it was called puppy chow because it looked like dog food. Edit 3. I can't spell right now. Thank you, Misty Gish.
Ramen made by my mom. I love ramen, but the way my mom makes it is: overcook the noodles, drain all the water, add a ton of butter. Then it's just a greasy soggy mess. Edit. I forgot the most important part. You have to pronounce it, ramen noodles. Try making it like your mother, then throw it in a frying pan and add a couple of beaten eggs. Ramen omelets are awesome.
A single slice of processed American cheese.
64 slices of American cheese added. Thanks for my first silver and my highest upvoted comment. Yes, I have been up all night eating cheese and yes, I am now blind. You know, only about a year ago I saw imitation American singles at the grocery store. As if American cheese wasn't fucking fake enough.
Fucking kid cuisines 5 yo me. Wow, this is delicious. 20 yo me making one for my nieces. Wow, this all looks terrible, I'm so sorry.
Damn, this is the 3rd time I've seen him in this thread. They must suck.
Had the opposite happen. Made cheeseburgers and fries here at the house and of course my genetic donation pipes up. Couldn't we have had McDonald's instead? I killed a 5th of vodka that night.
My grandmother used to make me peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. I honestly don't know if they are disgusting now. I can't imagine actually eating one. Loved these as a kid. Had a babysitter quit because she was too disgusted making them for me. 20 years later I understand where she was coming from. My mom recently told me she used to eat PB and Miracle Whip. And not a week before someone posted this old URL redacted D6HPO1N. Never heard of it before. But now it's everywhere.
I used to eat Cheese Whiz sandwiches for lunch all the time as a young kid. Since we could afford it. After years of it I came to hate it. And I can't stand it.
My grandma used to make Cheese Whiz on toast for me. I loved it then, but the thought of eating that now makes me want to vomit.
If you weren't eating Cheese Whiz straight from the can while watching a goofy movie in the 90s, I think you missed out on something. Edit. I got the name wrong. I'm sorry for it. You can stop correcting the canned cheese vs jar cheese. I get it.
Butter. As a child I would take huge bites out of the butter stick. The thought of it horrifies me now, but as a kid I loved it. Edit. Glad I'm not alone. Exclamation mark. Still disgusting though. Edit 2. My first silver. Exclamation mark. Thank you, kind stranger.
I lived for pizza Lunchables. But now the idea of eating cold shredded cheese and rubbery pepperoni on a sad little biscuit sounds awful. Edit. Everyone's saying you're supposed to microwave them. But my mum only bought them for me when she was too stressed at work to deal with packing my lunch, and my school didn't have microwaves for us to use. So I wouldn't know about that. Also, taco Lunchables were brought up, which were my second favorite Lunchables option. And I had completely forgotten about those ones. But not a single one of you better try to tell me that those are still good, because that meat packet was questionable AF.
My brother is 26 and regularly eats those.
Trix cereal. Those fucking kids were right.
Yeah, I just can't do fruity cereals anymore. Trix, Fruity Pebbles, etc. just doesn't sit right with me.
There was old Trix that had the fruity shapes and that taste. Then they changed it to balls and lost all the flavoring. Then they went back to the shapes. And to me, because at 29 years old I still eat it. Tastes just about as good as it did when I was a kid.
I don't mind Fruit Loops. Salad sandwiches, peanut butter, lettuce and Miracle Whip on white bread. My brothers and I ate them like crazy as kids. Just the thought is pretty revolting now.
Peanut butter and mayo is a legendary way to challenge your friends to see who's more of a human garbage disposal than the other. But lettuce, that abhorrent.
Yours is close to something a friend of mine used to have. 2 pieces of white bread. One side PB, one side grape jelly, then one side iceberg lettuce. The other side slice of American cheese. Put bologna on top of lettuce and spread some mayo over the cheese slice side. Smash this together. Enjoy. ...
Not a meal, but frosting. As a kid I'd try to get the cake piece or cupcake with the most frosting and lick it all off. Yum. Now as an adult, when I get those cupcakes with this big swirl of frosting on it like soft serve ice cream, I can't stand them. I scrape about 90% of that stuff off. And frosting flowers? No. Used to love them.
Fun word to have enter your vocabulary for exactly this. Cloying, per Merriam-Webster. Disgusting or distasteful by reason of excess sweetness, excessively sweet or sentimental. Edit. Merriam to Merriam.
Kid cuisine. Had it once a week for most of my childhood, and now I get sick just thinking of those chicken nuggets. Edit. Thanks for my first silver.
That brownie, though, my favorite was the taquitos that came with the cheese sauce. The cheese always got into the chocolate pudding somehow, along with a few pieces of the corn. IDK how I ate that.
My favorite meal was something my mom called tuna fish casserole. As an adult I discovered it was a can of tuna mixed with cream of mushroom soup with potato chips on top.
Gotta adult it up. Throw some roasted garlic and cheddar cheese in it and do a panko breadcrumb and cheese topping instead of chips. Still use cream of mushroom and tuna though.
I love that recipe. My hubby makes it like his mom did, and instead of noodles they use corn and potato chips. It is so salty and nasty.
Sugar water. Sugar dissolved in water.
Edgar, your skin's hanging off your bones.
Were you a hummingbird?
Give me sugar, in water. ...
The way I did it was 60/40 sugar and water ratio. Diabetes water.
Gogget. I love the bright blue colored ones. They weren't even fruit flavored. And were called something like Paradise Punch. It was just a thick sugar, flavor, and milk mix.
Now, true kings would throw them Go-Gurts in the freezer and have frozen Go-Gurt popsicles.
Not sure if you're talking about the same ones. But they had blue ones that were cotton candy flavored. I still like those if they're frozen, lol.
Did you know that Go-Gurt is just yogurt? Exclamation mark.
Bologna and ketchup sandwiches. White bread. Room temperature.
Sometimes I get a craving for bologna and cheese sandwiches. Slightly warm and damp, like those you'd get in free brown bag lunches with a carton of milk. Yum.
Met a guy last year who eats straight up ketchup sandwiches. Hope he rots in hell.
Just get incarcerated. It's like a walk down memory lane.
Chef Boyardee ravioli. No one wants to admit they ate 8 cans of ravioli.
Sucking on pennies.
Really easy to make a dangerous typo on this one. I don't remember sucking on pennies, but I remember the taste.
Did this as a kid and swallowed one. I still have the x-ray showing a perfect white circle under my ribcage. Breast milk, not my kink.
Yeah, I remember getting busy with the wife a few months after our first kid was born and it came out during foreplay. Not a nice taste.
There was an episode of Good Mythical Morning where they tried a bunch of different milks. Human was the one they thought was the worst. URL redacted. Watch. V equals GEMFW RU ZRMA.
What we used to do was take bread, layer on margarine, then sprinkle a coating of sugar on top. Sweet, but holy hell, I cringe to think I used to demand that every day.
Add cinnamon then toast it. Similar concept in Australia is called fairy bread. Instead of sugar, it's candy sprinkles. Essentially the same thing, but without the feeling of eating sand.
Vienna sausage. I feel nauseous thinking about it, but I'll always fuck with egg and rice.
Growing up in California, we had to make school-mandated emergency kits. And for some reason the manifest of items we needed to include in our bags listed Vienna sausages. We called them teeny weenies. These were kept in a metal train car on school grounds. And we got to take the bags home at the end of the school year. That's when we'd crack open our can of teeny weenies and taste true shame.
Hungry Man TV dinners. I fucking loved them as a kid. I was also a husky child, so I would have 2 at a time. I just had one recently and boy are they not great.
Which is surprising, considering how much salt is in TV dinners. You wouldn't expect them to be so bland.
I keep one in the freezer as an emergency meal when I'm too tired to cook. There's no food in the house and nothing is open. The select meals are a lot better than the others. As for the sodium content, drink an extra couple glasses of water.
Not food, but Mondo drinks. I remember chugging those things down 2 at a time. I found some in a grocery store last year and bought it for nostalgia's sake. Immediately felt like I was going to get diabetes. I don't know if they changed the ingredients over the years or my tastes are just different. But it was absolutely terrible. Fruit punch Minute Maid Fruitopia. Jesus, the amount of sugar in that makes my mouth pucker.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day, you amazing people.